Hey my friends, welcome back to another video for older women backpacking. My name is Liz. So my friend Carolyn and I, her name is also known as Cheesehead, we set out again on another trip, the Guadalupe Ridge Trail, GRT. This is a newer national recreational trail. It has no guidebook, no trail volunteers, and very few hikers have actually completed this 100-mile trek. You gotta check out channel Ultralight Outdoors. The link is below. He is my source of inspiration for completing this trail, as well as my girlfriend Carolyn, who painstakingly put this map together, connecting these two national parks and one national forest. In between these trail websites has a simple map to get you started. So my friend put together several apps and made an electronic file, and we put this in Google Earth as well as our Garmin GPS for our family to track us. So we got started on our very first day. That was Wednesday, January 27th. We spent all morning driving to both national parks and acquiring the backcountry permits that are needed. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we began our first section of our hike. After we parked Carolyn's truck at the Carlsbad, and we began our almost 10-mile hike without having to carry our backpacks.
A mine shaft.
What do you think about that, Voodoo Ranger?
No, 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 no. I'm not going in there.
Get something that you love, because it is well marked with cairns and a pleasant walk after the initial brief ascent. We enjoyed the views. Concerts, amphitheater. After halfway, we pass over throughout our visitor center as we made our brief stop. Well, we got some long shadows. Another half hour before that. I don't know if we can see anything. See, there's the truck. So it's morning again, our second day, and we shuttled the cars once again. We dropped off my car at the Lincoln National Forest Ranger Station, which is 46 miles away by the town of Queen, with food and water and resupply for the next 4 days after that. We drove back around to Carlsbad National Park, and we parked the truck over at the Guadalupe Ridge Trailhead with our heavy packs though. Can you do it? We would have liked to have done 10 miles a day, however, with water resupplies planned out, but not when you're shuttling cars in the morning. We met a couple hiking at the Rattlesnake Canyon Loop. They asked us about our trek, and we quickly got going again. We continue into climbing, ascending up to 5,000 feet of elevation. For today, our ascent became rockier and narrower, and the trail was going from being breezy all the way to being a little more windy. Not much higher, I was beginning to feel slower, but I was drinking plenty of water from my 5 liters that I was carrying. Obviously, a lot of people do, because the supermarket is closed out. And later, as we faced the beautiful sunset, we looked for a camp away from the wind. The forecast called for wind on Saturday. I was wondering what that would be like, as I have heard how severe those winds can be.
Yeah, I will. Hold on.
Are you really gonna do that?
That might, you know what? Don't do that, because that might be somebody that.
This is Trail Memos. Hey, is this the gate that divides the park? Yeah. However, we did reach the flat surfaces just in time for the sunset. So I was disappointed at not only having traveled 4 miles for the day, but the shuttling of the cars does take quite a bit of time. Sun is almost down. Views are just amazing. The temperatures were in the 50s during the day, and at night it dropped to about 37. Well, we are looking for campsites, but I want to show you that sunset. Look at them clouds. The third day on the GRT, Friday, January 29th. Windy night with collapsing tents during the night. I still remain pretty warm though. An astonishing sunrise, but today is not the super windy day. That's forecasted for tomorrow. But in order to catch up with some miles, we eat breakfast quickly and get going. The clouds look very ominous. We got a 2-minute shower during the night last night for the second time. The 40-mile-per-hour sustained wind was very hard to walk with, but at least we still could. Well, that sure was a windy night, but my tent only collapsed once. Slower, we did small mileage again today, 4 miles. Carolyn looks at fossils when she walks. I like to take videos. Enjoy the views. The wind was very strong, but not as severe yet. Temperatures are in the 50s. It makes for a very comfortable backpacking day. At least if we're gonna get rained on, I'd like to know about it. Our reward today hopefully would be Slaughter Canyon, the intersection. We were short, just by under a mile. We enjoyed a sunset during dinner time. After that, we all retreated to our tents quickly. The wind picks up early in the evening, the most severe happening around 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be fixing my tent up more than once tonight. But finally I gave up on it. In the morning the tent was also in my face, just like Carolyn's. It's just so pretty. Saturday winds are now here. Our 4th and final day on the GRT. As expected, it was a very hard windy night. The tent front pole was still up to my surprise. When I woke up, I was not going to be able to pack inside my tent or outside unless I find a place that it's not as windy. So I decided to scout out a promising bush so I can drag my tent over to that spot. However, in the process of sliding my tent over to the bush area, the wind caught up. It was like a flag just flapping in the wind. Stuff inside was now starting to fly right out. It was my Thermarest airbag, as well as my quilt, and even some other things that I never even did recover. But I did get my Thermarest, quite a few slices and holes in it, but my quilt, however, survived that. It got really close to flying over the canyon. I was kind of happy that I was able to catch up with that before it actually did. But now Carolyn is wondering where I went. Well, I went after to chase my gear, and she was like just like surprised, wondering what was going on as she's watching my stuff flying away. But once I gather up all my things, I really quickly, just furiously stuffed my backpack. Didn't fold anything, didn't put anything away, just shove it all in. Eventually, we both start finding each other's gear out, flying about, like the chairs, for example. Her chair went flying, and my one piece of my chair went flying as well, and we were able to find each other's gear here and there on our campsite area. So we got going as fast as we could, fighting the insane 70-mile-per-hour wind. 2 hours after a hike to reach the canyon, which was only less than a mile away, the Slaughter Canyon Junction, we decided to exit down that canyon. It was 6 miles, just slightly under 6 miles, to the trailhead. Slaughter Canyon was very steep. It was about 2,000 feet down, with lots of scree, wind. My very first scree slide, I shredded my wind pans, and my puffy got a whole bunch of holes in it. However, no major issues. Just get up, keep going. However, the second slide and fall, I was not as lucky. I did sprain my right ankle, but there's not much you can do about that. It was mild to moderate sprain. I could put weight on it. So I gather up everything and continue our walk down to the trailhead. It's amazing what adrenaline and the will can do, even if it means getting out at night. In my stress, I had forgotten that I'd seen a hiker, Rod, on his way up the canyon for a hike. I thought the guy must be nuts. But on his way back down, he checked with us. Told him about my ankle sprain, and he quickly offered to carry my backpack. Carolyn carrying my fanny pack. So with that, that was a huge improvement. I was able to double up my speed, and was able to get out just maybe half hour after dusk. So it was around 6:30 at night. To my awesome surprise, Rod was so kind. He actually gave us a ride to the hotel, and wow, what an adventuresome day that was. It was the hardest of all our days, but Rod was really, really the person that I need to thank a lot. He didn't even want to accept a tip or anything. He just did it out of the kindness of his heart. But it really saved me from spending a lot of hours on the trail. The next morning, I knew my ankle would not tolerate any weight, but I didn't have to think about that anymore. But the boot that I was wearing, it gave me mild to moderate sprain. It wasn't as severe. If it wasn't for strong boots, it would have been a problem. So I spent the next day with Carolyn retrieving our cars, and we also visiting Sitting Bull, the waterfalls. And the winter winds are severe in Carlsbad, and even more so in Guadalupe Peak, at a higher elevation, which is about 7,000 feet. Water caches are needed at any season on the GRT, but shuttling cars or hiding caches. Be realistic on the ability over the distance with the scree and the rocky Texas terrain. Add heat or wind to this, and it could be quite an advanced, challenging trip. Check out All the Women Backpacking on Facebook group. That is you. We get together to inspire each other, motivate, and get out there on the trails. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and there'll be future trips. Thank you.